Welcome to Improv for the podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Dan, who will tell us all about his improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games, and most importantly, learn how he improv'd his life. Let's hit it. Welcome to Improv for the podcast. I'm your host, Michael Lee Evans, and today I am joined by the incredibly talented master of puzzles, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artiste, improviser, Dan. Dan, thank you so much for coming on the show this evening.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for doing the research on me as well.
Absolutely.
Some things have come up.
Some things have come up. The internet is a wonderful place, let me tell you. How are you doing this evening, Dan?
I'm good, man. Yeah, Wednesday night, halfway through the week, hump day, so we're getting there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's this has been a weird week for me, but I'm glad to be here. It's like the one normal thing in my life where I just get to sit down for like an hour and a half, chill, have a good conversation. So thank you for making that happen.
Of course, happy to.
Yeah. So Dan, tell me, what's your relationship with this old thing here, Improv for the people?
Yeah. So I had done some improv in high school, pretty much. You're mostly just screwing around and pretty much exclusively going for the dumb laughs and trying to not get expelled, but really pushing the boundaries.
Writing a fine line.
There's not a lot of actual, improv skill involved in that, but my younger brother, Liam, is heavily involved in IFTP, and, he had been taking classes for a while, and now he teaches classes. And so he convinced my girlfriend and I to join him for IFTP's summer camp, basically, the weekend away up in Big Bear. And I was super excited because having done a little bit of improv in high school, I loved it and was super excited to get back to it. So we went to the summer camp, which was 2.5 days, kind of outside LA. And it was super fun, and it was goofy and great and just fun to get back into that and have, that creative outlet.
Oh, yeah.
So after doing the summer camp, we decided we should definitely take the classes. So we started taking classes in January of this year, I think. So we were doing that once a week, which was great. And have just been going to a lot more shows and stuff like that. It's been super fun. We're off now. We stopped classes for a little bit as schedule changed, but we're itching to get back as well. Oh yeah,
absolutely. And I think I met you for the first time when we were at camp because I was there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
So that was your first IFTP. You hadn't gone to classes before that. You were just let's just do a camp.
Didn't do any classes. Didn't know anybody.
I like that.
And we were like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, we're gonna dive in head first.
You did the craziest thing.
We did the craziest aspect of it.
Yeah.
And the improv is super fun, but then also when you're it really is summer camp. You're just an adult now. Yeah. But you're sleeping in cabins with everybody. It's like cafeteria food, and it's oh, all right, let's do it. Let's see.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun to honestly be put in that kind of environment as well, because I think similar to improv, you go out and you take risk and you do things you're probably uncomfortable with.
Oh yeah.
And that's where you form really fun relationships and experiences.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a fun thing and it's a fun thing, it's a fun thing, but that's it, right? If you want genuine connection and excitement, I think you have to kind of step into the unknown, which the summer camp was an unknown.
It's a trial by fire for sure.
A lot of
You're
fire.
I've done improv, but I haven't done it for 2.5 days straight before. Most haven't.
I haven't done it for 2.5 days in the wilderness on limited caloric intake. So.
It's true. And with strangers, any one of those people could have killed you. Could have harvested your kidneys.
People did threaten me to kill me during that experience.
Improvisers are a tough crowd.
Yeah, it's tough. It's where the character ends and the person begins. You took some time to figure out.
I like how you phrased that. Yeah, it's hard to find. All right, Dan, before we get into talking improv too much, we got to play some three things, as is tradition here on the podcast. So,
right.
As always, I did some digging on Dan. I'm a sort of an internet sleuth, if you will, meaning I just punch your name into Google and see what comes up. Yeah, and Sherlock Holmes could use some tips from me. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Dan. So you played Three Things before. Any questions?
I haven't played Three Things before. I don't think.
Okay. So I'm just going to give you a category. Okay. You'll list 3 things from it.
Love it.
I'll number them, and then we'll move on to the next category.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and they're all from your life, so you're going to be a pro.
Okay.
All right, here we go. These are 3 things. Words that rhyme with Dan.
Dan. Flam.
1.
Pan.
2.
And crayon.
3. Nice job. Ooh, crayon. Second category, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves.
Ooh. Triangle choke.
1. Rear
naked choke.
2.
Knee bar.
3. Last category, Russian culture topics or items.
Ooh. It's real deep digging.
It's a deep cut, yeah.
People are going to think that I'm now just a foreign agent of some kind.
It's all right, comrade. You can talk about our culture.
Okay. Dostoevsky.
1.
Trains.
2.
Gulags.
3. These are 3 things. Ooh, very nice. Love that Dostoevsky reference there. Crime and Punishment.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. So that first category, words that rhyme with Dan. Solid choices.
Thank you.
I think crayon, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah. A lot of people don't think about that one.
Because I think, is crayon a 1 or 2 syllable word? Crayon?
Depends.
Crayon?
Depends where you're raised, I think.
That's true. And then there's cranberries, so it's a whole other type of crayon.
That's true.
I don't know.
Vodka crayon.
Ooh, now we're talking. It's a good drink. I'm impressed at your rhyming skills. That second category, why'd I ask you about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Dan?
I imagine you found that out about me online somehow, but I don't know. I don't know where you found that because I don't think I've posted anything about that. But I must have been tagged.
You were tagged. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what? I just figured out on Instagram how to see photos that people are tagged in.
Yeah.
I'm not an internet sleuth.
That's all right.
It made me feel quite old.
It's okay.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is something I've been doing for a couple years now. I started doing boxing, which was super fun. Worked with a coach named Jorge Suavecito, who's opening a new gym soon, which is exciting. And I think he actually came to an IFTP class one time because he was like, he teaches classes, but he wants to be able to improv during the classes and keep people excited. So he came,
coach and a teacher.
Yeah, so he came to one. But anyway, I started doing boxing and then I moved into jiu-jitsu, which is, for those that don't know, it's basically like fancy wrestling or murder yoga.
I like murder yoga.
Some people, which is a better name. Yeah, it's a martial art. It's super fun. I am obsessed with it as well. It's a great workout, and you are basically it's the art of fighting on the ground effectively. So most fights end up on the ground somehow, and so you are defending yourself and trying to basically choke out or submit the other person somehow. So you put them in a compromising position where they will either, you could threaten to break bones or dislocate joints, or you squeeze the arteries and they go to sleep. So if anybody watches UFC, obviously they talk about it all the time. It's super fun. It's everyone that I have met through it has been super nice and respectful, and I feel like most people go in thinking it's a bunch of meatheads or whatnot, which it is to some extent.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Yeah, so that's been my other LA obsession. I feel like between improv and jiu-jitsu, I'm just hitting all the big stereotypes.
That's a great combo, I think.
Yeah. So we're doing okay on that, but it's super fun. And obviously, anyone that's taken the class with me has seen me assault my younger brother, either before or after the class when he gets a little uppity.
Absolutely.
You gotta kind of just
keep him in check.
You bring him down a little bit. So.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things I've seen is that every time you arrive to the theater, or one of you arrives and the other's already there, it's just the brawl that occurs.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
He's a little skinny weakling, and you just go for the single leg, take him down, and you got to assert the dominance every once in a while.
Well, and you're the older brother. It's your right.
It's my right.
It's your responsibility.
It's my responsibility.
People are counting on you. I'm counting on you, Dan.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing my job otherwise. So yeah, no, that's been super fun. I invite him to classes all the time too.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you want to come do this? Like, it's a good workout and you learn stuff. And he's like, no.
You go to his classes.
Absolutely not. I know I go to his classes. What the hell is this?
Like, hey, look, Liam, I do your thing, right? I'm into that. You should come over here sometime.
Check it out. Yeah.
And some chokeholds.
He has no interest, but we try.
Fair. All right, that last category. Why did I ask you about Russian culture?
Yeah, so I took a bunch of Russian culture classes when I went to USC for undergrad, and I had extra room, for classes that I didn't need for my majors or whatnot. So, but I ended up just taking like Russian language, Russian culture, Russian history, and I just thought it was super interesting. I really liked all that. So I read a ton of Russian literature. And then I ended up doing this trip when I was a junior for my spring break. Everyone else at SC was like going to Cabo or Vegas.
Yeah, sure.
And I was in this class that did a trip to Moscow.
Wow.
So the trip was we were supposed to fly into Moscow, and then we would take the Trans-Siberian Express from Moscow to a city called Irkutsk, which is like deep in Siberia next to Lake Baikal, which is the world's deepest freshwater lake. And when it freezes, the purity of the water is such that it freezes and the ice is like bright blue. Huh. It's this really weird...
Sounds incredible.
Geological phenomenon. Anyway, that was the plan. But this would have been in 2014, which was the first time that Russia invaded Ukraine.
Right.
And so relations were tense, obviously, at that time as well.
Makes sense.
And we had flown there, and we were supposed to get on the train. And basically, my Russian is not good. But basically, the conductor was like, there's no way you're getting on this train, even though we all had our tickets. It was a group of probably 15 or 20 of us or something.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're not, no Americans on the train, no chance. So the train just left. And we were abandoned in Moscow, and we were like, oh my God, what do we do? So we had to change our hotels, and we eventually flew to Irkutsk, so we still went to Siberia.
Oh, wow.
But it was a really, really cool trip.
Yeah.
I don't think that I will ever probably go to Russia again. That's a tough place to travel to these days.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got to go. It was very cool. And obviously a lot of the culture and the literature and the literature out of Russia is amazing and very interesting. And I think the history of the country and how people behave when they live in a society like that and the impacts it has on social relationships and familial relationships and all that is sort of a fascinating thing to study.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm interested. I'm not in the KGB or the FSB.
It is all right, comrade.
Yeah, so I should make sure I say that on air.
Sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Still asleep.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Russian author or writer?
I like Dostoevsky a lot. I like Crime and Punishment is great. There's another book called The Idiot, which is entertaining as well.
I've been called that.
Yeah. I think Pushkin though, Eugene Onegin, is one of the coolest. Pushkin is sort of like the Russian Shakespeare, I suppose, and he wrote epic poetry. So Eugene Onegin is the story of a romantic Russian character, but it's all in prose. And so you can read it in English and it's still very good. But then if you listen to it in Russian, it's also amazing because it all obviously rhymes in Russian, and the way it flows is really interesting. The history of Pushkin himself is also fascinating because he came from he wasn't, he just has a really interesting background as well. The
The answer I was looking for was Chekhov, but it's fine.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's that too.
No. It's really cool. And I think what an interesting time to take that trip, I imagine. I have never visited a country that was actively in conflict with another country.
Yeah, it was. It was a strange time to be there.
Yeah.
And the next year, I took a trip to. I went to Korea, and then we went up to like the border with North Korea.
Yeah, the DMZ.
And so that's that. After that, I was like, I should probably
pick some less
go
like,
to, like,
hot zones.
Yeah. Like maybe I stop going to questionable areas, but
Just like it's somewhere a little calmer.
yeah.
Just like go to like Iceland or something.
Yeah. Scotland, or just kind of just
A little more
chill.
low key.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dan. Well, thank you for playing Three Things and talking to us about Russian literature. But it's time.
Okay.
We got to hear about improv. So I want you to take us back in your life. When was the first time you heard about, learned of, maybe saw, whatever that was, improv? When was the first time you were exposed to it?
I think probably watching Whose Line Is It Anyway, which I feel like is probably a pretty common answer.
Yeah.
And I know that's like, whatever, it's different game styles and stuff like that. But we used to, our family would watch like, on Sunday nights, we would watch America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Which was great. Or we
ABC.
would watch, what's that guy's name? Ty Pennington.
Oh, Extreme Home Makeover.
Extreme Home Makeover.
I think my family was watching the same programming as your family.
Probably.
Those two shows. It was
Yeah.
like back to back, I think.
Yeah, they were back to back.
Yeah,
And
Tom Bergeron and then
yeah, they would like come and, kidnap a family and then they would like build something and the kid would be like, I like sharks. And then they'd come back. He's like, your whole room is sharks.
we killed a shark and put it in your room for you to sleep in.
It's like inside the carcass of a shark. And it was always like, whoa. And as a child, I thought that was sick.
Yeah, I wanted them to
Yeah.
change my life.
Change my life. And then every week my mom would be like, he's going to get so bored at that.
Yeah.
And so
They won't want that when they're
they
teenagers.
won't like that. No. But at some point the programming changed and they did Whose Line Is It Anyway after or before one of their shows or something like that. So I think we watched that a couple of times and it was always just hilarious and fun.
Yeah.
And then when I went to high school, our high school like troupe had an improv troupe called Kitsch. So going to those shows was always a ton of fun.
Yeah. So were you just an audience member of those shows or did you join the troupe?
I was an audience member for my freshman year. I'm trying to remember. I think I joined it in my sophomore year. And so like sophomore, junior, senior year, I was in the troupe.
Got it.
And it was called Kitsch. They wore a bunch of pink clothing. It was a bunch of yahoos, but it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned earlier, right? Like more the goal of that improv group was like not get expelled. Like we're going to ride that line and we're going to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we were just a bunch of high school kids with no guidance.
Yeah.
And so we would have rehearsals once a week, but it was just us just fucking around, like nobody was practicing it.
Yeah.
No one was like studying it. And every couple of years, someone would come along that like had some brains, and they would read a book on improv
Just one book.
or something, or like
Yeah.
there would be a drama teacher who like had done some improv, so they could teach some of the basic rules and structure. But we weren't doing any of that. We were just screwing around. And so coming to LA and going to some more like professional shows or whatnot, and seeing like long form where it's like an hour-long improv show.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa,
That's crazy.
that's insane. Like, how do they do that? And the goals of those shows are so different than like just cheap laughs
Than the
and
high
whatnot,
school
than the
shows.
high school, crap.
Yeah.
So, it's fun to, it's just as fun, but it's almost more fun to be able to like develop the longer term stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. So do you remember what some of those like first improv shows you saw in LA were?
They would have been all Liam shows
okay.
at USC.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I went to a couple shows at USC, but not that many.
Yeah.
But then when Liam was in a handful of, well, I guess he was just in one troupe there, but I went to a couple of those, which was super fun, and they did a lot of long form stuff. And so I was like, oh wow, that's those are awesome. and then started coming to IFTP shows as well, and would go to a couple shows at UCB of like kind of random troops. So either like the house team or
Harold Knight or
yeah, and there was more sketch stuff going on as well. So yeah,
that's really cool. Wow. All right. So were you interested in performing growing up? Like, was that something you were into, or were you just like, I just want to do improv because it's hilarious?
No, I loved performing. I am the middle child. So I'm basically in constant need of attention at all times.
You got to stand out.
And you got to stand out. So I always, I think from a young age, was just demanding attention and like to perform in general. And then, both Liam and I were in, I don't know if I'm telling his secrets here as well, but we were both in a boy choir for a long time.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we were in a boy choir from from when I was in first grade through high school, pretty much.
That's young to be in a choir, first grade.
Yeah. I mean, they start really young.
Yeah.
And then you move your way through, and then your voice changes like 8th grade freshman year.
It's got to be painful.
It's painful. It's a painful time, and then you move into like the high school troupe that'll have basses and baritones.
Yeah,
the younger
full
boy
range.
Yeah, the younger boy choir will have soprano, alto. That was awesome. I loved that. It was classical music, classical choral music. We took very intensive music theory. So we had to, understand how to like write music and understand music and the chords.
Probably sight read and like
sight read. Yeah. So all that kind of stuff. I think that, in doing that though, I also realized I was like, I really like performing and I like the structure of this. But there were some people in there that blew me away with their musical ability. It's like crazy. And I was fine at it, but I was not at the level of some of these other people. Particularly some people have an ability called perfect pitch, which is like this insane superpower.
It's annoying.
It's super annoying where, you just like, you give a note and they can just tell you they can sing the note. It's crazy. So I saw people doing that. I was like, I get
excuse you?
Yeah,
like,
what?
What do you mean I'm off?
Right. But anyway, we performed with them, and we would go on tours. So we traveled.
Wow, that's cool.
We went to we did a bunch of stuff in different states domestically, and then we did a trip to Australia and New Zealand.
What?
Did a bunch of performances
Canada.
there. Went to Canada. Liam did a trip to South Africa.
Wow.
So you kind of go and you meet up with different choirs and do different
like fight each other.
Yeah. You would sing, and then they would just execute one of the losing team. Just kidding.
I'm gonna throw one out there because I did choir in high school as well.
Okay.
Because now I'm wondering, did your choir do any competitions in Pasadena? Chance?
I don't.
In like 2012.
I don't think so.
Darn. Okay.
I don't think that we did.
Okay. I think by the sound of it, y'all were at another level than we were. So
it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And we would sing with San Francisco Symphony and San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah, you were at another level.
It was super fun because we performed with the opera, and we were always like street rats. Was basically the role you would play in these various operas where you like,
oh, that's cool.
They just like they make your face look all dirty, and you're just like, running around and
Yeah. You there, street rat.
Get out of here. Yeah. But so I loved all that. So I always
sounds like fun.
I always loved performing, and in high school did a bunch of performances and stuff. And then, in college I did some choir in college as well. And but as I started working, like my job took up all of my time, and I didn't have a performance outlet of any kind. So that's why I was so excited to get back into improv and just have a creative outlet where you can let all that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's like, all right. College is like, that's when life becomes real. So you can lose out on some of those hobbies because you have to get a job and all those other things. Your classes and
Well, I think even college is like not even real quite yet
that's
because true. You have classes, but you have a lot of free time
Yeah.
to fuck around.
I
And,
watched a lot of Walking Dead in college.
yeah, you're hanging out with all your friends and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's, those first couple years out of college, it's kind of like, oh shit, like it's over. We're starting
Yeah.
now, and I gotta find something. And I think in the first couple of years, there's a lot of pressure to get your job and get your kind of at least the very beginnings of your career trajectory going.
Yeah.
But then you hit a certain level where you're like, okay, I have a job.
Stabilized a little bit.
I have found something people will pay me to do somehow, and I'm going to keep doing that.
They want me there, I guess.
Yeah, like, I keep showing up, and the door is still unlocked. So
My key works.
Yeah, it's whatever. But I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But then you as you get more stabilized in that, you're like, you think about the things you want as well, right? So you hit your needs, and then you're like, well, I want a creative outlet, or I want to develop the skill, or I want to be this physically fit, or whatever. And so trying to allocate your time to achieve those.
Absolutely. All right. So you graduate college. Did you stay in LA? Did you go somewhere else?
I moved to New York. Yeah.
Okay.
So right out of school. So when I was a junior, I had an internship in New York. And then right after school, I moved to New York.
Yeah, because you had like that connection.
Yeah. So I got a job at the place that I interned at. So I was doing investment banking, which is very, very time intensive.
Yeah.
So you're working 80-hour weeks, 80 to 100-hour weeks, 100 every once in a while. That's a lot of fucking time. So it's relatively
That's
rare.
a lot of time.
But it's it's at least 6 days a week, and it's often 7 days. So you have no time to do anything, and you're basically just trying to stay alive and get all your work done. So, so I was in New York. I was in Midtown. I lived in Hell's Kitchen.
Do you know Daredevil?
No, I saw him. And he bumped into me.
Wow.
And I thought he was supposed to have the sense despite being blind.
Yeah.
But no, he just walked right into me.
Man.
Unbelievable. But
That raises even more questions, but we won't worry about it.
Right. But yeah, so I loved New York. New York was awesome. It's obviously a great city. It's good to live there, I think, for a couple years, but it's also lunacy.
Yeah.
And so
Madness.
it's absolute madness. So after a couple of years, you're like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I gotta get out.
Especially, working in finances in New York, that's got to be probably one of the craziest places in the world, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, you're like lunatics.
Yeah. I've seen Wolf of Wall Street.
It was exactly like that.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. I loved my job, to be honest. It was it was crazy intense, but it's kind of like your favorite thing you never want to do again.
Mm-hmm. You can look back on it and be like, wow, I did that.
Wow, that was sick, but never again. But anyway, so I did that, and then it's typically a 2-year program. So you only do it, you're only an analyst for 2 years, and then you recruit to another job, and then you do that job for 2 years, and then you either go to another job or you go to business school. So I did my 2 years of banking. I recruited back to LA, and I worked for into a private equity shop doing media and entertainment investing for startups and growing companies. Yeah. And that was awesome. That was really cool. So when I was in banking, I was in media and communications banking. So we were doing M&A and financing for big media conglomerates and studios, and a lot of those companies have consolidated over the last few years. So you're basically figuring out the math of how all that works.
Now there's 2 companies.
Right. There's 2. That's it. So you're welcome.
Yeah. Wow. This guy, it's his fault.
Yeah. So then I started doing, growth investing with media and entertainment. And then I did that for the next 2 years. And then I joined a new family office here in LA, doing more kind of general private equity work.
Yeah. So during that time in New York, I imagine you weren't doing a ton of performing. No choirs, no improv, theater. You like the kazoo, and you're like the guy on the street who's like,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I spray painted myself in silver. Nice. And I had to
that's cool. Yeah, you look like a robot.
Right, but I could only do those. That was only my Times Square, and I had the 4 a.m. shift, so it was tough.
Oh yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't get to do any performing.
Yeah,
I really
you were
didn't.
busy.
Wasn't doing anything. But one of my favorite things to do was to go to the Cellar, the Comedy Cellar, and watch stand up.
Yeah.
Which was super fun. So we would do that like most free weekends that I had. And you could go and you stand outside and you can get whatever it's called, like standby tickets or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if somebody doesn't show up and they got 2 extra seats, then you can go in and take those too.
Yeah. 'Cause they need those seats full.
Yeah. So that was great. And if you don't get seats, you go to Minetta Tavern, which is this like steakhouse down the street that has one of the greatest burgers in the city, I think. So that 1-2 combo kept me quite entertained for some time.
Either comedy or burger. That's
Right.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like
It's going to be one of the two. So.
yeah. You win either
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Oh man, what made the burgers so good?
I have no idea, to be totally honest. They just like, it was just cooked really well. It was a nice, thick, juicy burger. I love a smash burger,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But like a well-cooked, seasoned, big, juicy burger. And then they had just the fries were, I love a good fry.
Yeah.
So
Killer
thin
fry.
fries.
Oh, okay. Thin fries. I'm thinking about burgers now.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. All right, that's really cool. So you come back to LA, right? You did your 2 years. You come back to LA. You're here. Obviously, your brother is here as well. Is that when you started getting that itch? You're like, I've been grinding, working on my career. I wanna do something creative. I want to get back to those roots that I used to have.
Not when I first moved back. To be totally honest, when I first moved back, my first goal was to get in shape.
Yeah.
Because I had spent 2 years like exclusively working and then just eating bagels and dollar sliced pizza.
Oh yeah.
Which is incredible.
Two of the best things in New York.
Let me just tell you, it was amazing,
Yeah.
but I was enormous. And so I was like, okay, I got to work on my health a little bit. And so when I first came back, that's when I started getting into boxing and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah, getting a program.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of my free time was doing that kind of stuff, which I really enjoyed. And, so that was like 2 years, and then COVID hit. And, everyone knows that story. But I think, Liam really was the one that got me back into it, because I was looking at how much stuff he was able to do.
Yeah.
And all the performing he was doing, and he was doing a lot of stand-up, and he was doing a lot of improv. And that was just super exciting to me.
Yeah.
And I remembered how much I had enjoyed doing improv and performing in general. And I think it was a combination of I hit a little bit of career stability where I had extra time to use to do stuff to perform, and just seeing how much Liam was doing it and how much he enjoyed it. So when he told me about IFTP, I got excited, and I live like walking distance from here as well.
Nice.
So I was like, well, it's super convenient.
I guess I'll go.
So,
All right, Liam. If
Yeah.
I lived anywhere else, I wouldn't do it.
yeah, exactly.
But I'll go.
But I'll go now. So, it took me a while, but I'm so glad, obviously, that I am doing it. And it is, you realize once you start with that creative outlet, you're like, oh, wow, it's tough to shut this down.
Yeah.
It's like, this is really important for me as well.
Yeah. It feels good. Wow. I didn't realize how much I missed this.
Right.
Yeah. I was of a similar way that I hadn't done anything creative, like because of COVID, everything stopped. And then like coming to IFTP was like the first time, like I hadn't done an improv class in probably like 4 years. So I was like, whoa, what is this? But it felt so good once I got the ball rolling.
Yeah. You know what, though? I will tell you one creative thing that I did do during COVID that you missed in your internet sleuthing.
Oh.
Which is, not going to lie, bit of a big miss. My roommate and I, we would live stream marble racing on Instagram.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know why we thought this would be fun. Basically, all the other sports got shut down.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to watch.
Yeah.
And all my friends from SC are like diehard sports addicts.
Yeah.
And so they were having
something.
They were having mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I don't know, let's race marbles. And so, we bought like a toy for children.
Yeah.
And a bunch of marbles, and we would set up these elaborate tracks and then race them. And no one had anything else to do, so it sort of spiraled a little bit. And we got up to like, I don't know, something dumb, something like 1,000 followers that would tune in on Friday nights to watch the marble races.
Marble race,
which is like means nothing.
That's
like,
what it's all about.
That's not a high number, but we were living large.
Yeah,
and that was super. I mean, I was just kind of screwing around, but looking back, like that was a performance as well, right? To keep people entertained with that, and that was super fun. And the last radio show / podcast I did was with not Ty Pennington, but what's his name? Ryan Seacrest.
No, really?
Somebody's friend who knew somebody who like worked on the radio show or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they like set us up to do like a 5-minute interview over the phone.
Oh, okay.
About like our marble racing or whatnot.
So you guys race marbles, huh?
Tell us all about it. We're like, it's exactly, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We race marbles. It was like, which was hilarious. That was clearly the peak of my entertainment career and the trough of his.
I mean, that's pretty good.
He was talking to me about my marble racing. But yeah, looking back, I realized too, I was like, I like performing so much that I was finding other outlets like that to kind of do it in. But to do it more, actively or more disciplined, I guess, through IFTP is better.
A little more structure. I mean, I am so sad I missed that because now my mind is like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a separate Instagram account and we ran our promotions.
Yeah.
So that's next time.
Do you mind sharing the account?
It's called Rona Racing League. Ooh, the RRL.
That's a good name.
So yeah, we got a little too into it.
Yeah.
We had too much free time on our hands. For sure.
I'm curious about some of these elaborate track setups. I have to think about it.
They weren't like that elaborate.
It's for marbles at the end of the day.
It's for all the marbles, baby. Yeah. No, it was fun.
It's good. You found a need. People were missing sports. I remember because like it all kicked off with all the NBA drama that was happening.
Yeah.
And then everything shut down.
Everything shut down. There's nothing to do. Liam told us, he's like, you guys screwed up, man. Like, if you guys had started like a TikTok account. Oh yeah. TikTok was blowing up at that time. Yeah. I'd be a billionaire at this point.
You'd have so much money you wouldn't know what to do. Think of the marbles you could have bought.
Oh, I would have bought so many marbles.
The finest marbles made of Italian glass. Just nice piece of glass right there.
Great. Great.
You could have gotten one of your eyes replaced by a marble. Just to be like,
that'd be sick.
I'm the marble man. That's how they know me.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Oh, well.
But, life is full of choices.
And I chose wrongly.
You did.
I chose wrongly.
You did, but you know that you did. And
true.
That's important.
It's true.
So sorry, Dan.
Yeah. No,
sorry.
Right.
Could have been a marble man. Yeah. All right. So your marble career ends. Life goes on, right? Mm-hmm. Things from COVID, they get better. Things start to open up a little bit. So this brother of yours, he goes, hey, Dan, I'm going to camp. And this ain't any camp. Yeah. This is a camp for improv. You in?
You in. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend, Taylor, who takes classes with IFTP as well, she had done some improv in college, so she was excited, which was great because I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to have to pitch this idea of her sleeping in a cabin with strangers and, pretending to be someone she's not for laughs. And she was like, no, that sounds awesome. Let's try it.
She yes-anded.
Yeah, exactly. So that was great. And we're like, whatever. We'll have a good time. It'll be a fun weekend. We'll see how it goes. And it was a super fun time. And we came back from that and we're like, the camp aspect is a lot, but we like the classes.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We will definitely, we got to come back and sign up for some classes and start that in the new year. So when we came back from the holidays, we signed up right away and have been doing it pretty much since.
That's amazing. And what classes have you been in? Are you doing Wednesday nights, Saturday mornings?
We're doing the Wednesday night class, which has been great.
Yeah.
And we went to one of the jams like a month ago, whatever the last jam was. And then we're going to go tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jam, so.
Tomorrow. Jam.
Damn.
Jumping and jamming.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I might have been at that jam that you were at. I know I went to one. I can't remember.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's been a few of them. It's all kind of blends together. Yeah, I just have to remember if there was a fight before the jam started.
Oh, really? A real one?
No, between you and...
Oh, me and Liam. Oh, yeah.
Liam.
Oh, that happens all the time.
Weekly, I think.
All the
almost.
time.
Yeah.
When we were younger, so Liam's the youngest, so I'm 4 years older than him.
That's the baby.
Yeah, and then we have obviously an older brother, Joe, who's 2 years older than me. So we're a lot closer. But I remember one time Joe and I were fighting downstairs. We were wrestling. We were never fighting. No one was ever angry with each other.
You're brothers. You were doing what you do.
You're just trying to kill him. You know what I mean? And we were fighting. We were like rolling around, and it was in a hallway like that, so it was like a tight space.
Yeah, narrow.
And I basically like rolled and bridged and pushed him off of me, and I pushed him through the drywall of our wall in our house.
Yeah.
Because I'm the strongest man alive.
Yeah.
And
wow. Congratulations.
He went through a wall like a cartoon character where there's like his body, you can see like his imprint.
Oh, that's so good.
And our parents were not pleased.
Yeah, that's a pretty serious.
What are you guys doing? So that was sort of when we're like, you know what, we're probably too large to just be like just to be attacking each other in the hallway. So we toned it down from there, but not to zero.
Yeah,
you know,
good,
we're like at 25%. So
good. Okay. Yeah. That's good to hear. Yeah, let the tradition live on. I want you guys to be like in your 80s, just still going at it.
Just going at it.
Someone lifts the other person up. Just,
hitting each other with our canes.
Yeah, whatever you got at that point. Yeah. Just make it work. Oxygen tank, who knows?
Yeah.
Everything's a weapon. All right. Bring it back to improv. So what do you think, based off your time here at IFTP and then thinking back to your high school days with Kish, what do you think are some differences in you as an improviser from then compared to now?
Sure. I think, I mean, back then, you know, I was, 16 years old, 17. I was an idiot. I was
peak of your craft.
Yeah. Just peak moron. So, you know, 17-year-old boys are not very mature or thoughtful about the things that they do. And I think, like I was saying, like, was just going for laughs. Like, did not care about building a story, building structure, being an interesting character, or getting to, you know, like genuinely funny situations, I think, was only interested in like quick laughs, trying to make people laugh, trying to gain, you know, like just get pats on the back at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think now I'm still probably, you know, this now might be my new peak moron, but like hopefully I'm a little bit more mature and thoughtful than when I was 16. And I think you realize too, it's so much more interesting to build, you know, the whole world of whatever the scene is, right? Build that detail and build the character and the relationship and why are they there and who are they and, you know, what is their relationship? And so like just trying to be a lot more thoughtful about building that structure, I think is something that I try to be more aware of. Because it also gets you to more interesting places. So even if it's not funny, it's like the audience still wants to see the scene play out, right? Because they're invested in the characters.
Yeah, they want to know.
If you build the world, they want to see what happens in the world. And then I also think that when you create that connection between the audience and the character so much, you find sort of like, you know, genuinely funny things where it's like, oh, that's the audience is like, oh, that's funny because we know this character is this way or whatever. But that takes a lot more patience and just being able to listen to other people rather than just trying to like own a scene yourself and go for cheap laughs.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a world of difference.
Right.
Yeah. You and your girlfriend,
Yeah.
Taylor,
Nice.
have been taking classes together. And I'm just curious, what is it like being in an improv class, like with your partner?
It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's hilarious to see her up there.
Yeah.
Just being herself and being goofy and playing characters and stuff. And, we haven't done like that many scenes together. I think we sort of, not that we avoid it, but like, it feels like cheating a little bit. You know what I mean?
So the connection you have is, I mean, come on. Yeah.
Right. And to be honest, I think it's a little bit harder to be in scenes with people you know really, really well. So like it's hard to be in scenes with Liam sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we have our own humor between the two of us.
Yeah.
And I will start to do things that I know will make him laugh. But again, like the audience is not in on our inside jokes. So it's like, that doesn't make sense. And it's the same thing with Taylor too. You know, there's things that I know will make her laugh. But sometimes it's a little bit easier to become, it's obviously easier to become a totally new character and live in a totally new world when it's with someone and you know how they'll behave, but you're not super, super close.
Yeah.
When it's with Taylor, it's hard to completely separate myself from, being whatever, the meat factory owner or whatever, like scene we're playing.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it a little more challenging, but in terms of like seeing her perform and being in the class and being able to talk through things with her, that's awesome. It's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Yeah, I've thought about it because I've been trying to get my wife, I want her to take a class, and I don't know that we'd be in it together. I just want her to try it because it comes down to having to explain an improv scene to someone who wasn't there is the worst thing. It's not funny.
Right.
It's just like, oh, it was this scene where, so I just imagine the idea of like you're both in the class together.
Yeah.
Then, you're driving home or whatever. You can talk about it and be like, oh, yeah, remember when so-and-so did this? Or like when I was doing that. That's pretty cool.
No, it is cool. It's so much fun to be able to like talk about it and talk through things we want to try and all that kind of stuff.
Technique and like reflection. And, so D, I got to get you in a class.
I've tried to get Taylor to come to jiu-jitsu classes with me, and she has zero interest whatsoever, which is completely fine. And similarly, I will come back from a class and I'll be like, honey, I hit the 6th submission today. What you're going to want to do, you want to take the shoulder, you wrap it around and I try to explain it. She's like, don't do that. I don't care.
She's like, okay, Dad.
All right, that's great, honey. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Exactly. But
that's funny.
Yeah, it's super fun to be able to share improv together.
Yeah, 100%. That's really awesome. All right, Dan, I got a couple more questions for you. We're going to get into our games. So my first to last question.
Penultimate.
Yeah. What do you think thus far has been the kind of the impact, the impact of improv on your life?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm trying to think of like one good one. I think honestly, there's been so many. I think there's a lot of positive impacts from just being able to think on your feet and hold conversations with people in any scenario is a real value add.
Yeah.
And I think to be good at improv, you have to be a great listener. You got to be emotionally intelligent, and you got to understand like how your actions make other people feel. And so bringing those qualities into your personal life or into your work life or, any relationship has huge benefits, right? Because improv is creating relationships and creating worlds. And so I think in general, just like that, learning that behavior and how to flex that muscle is really positive because, even though you're not like being some zany character, if you're able to listen to others and understand how it makes them feel in certain situations, there's a lot of benefits there, and then on a less serious level, like just having a creative outlet, like I feel way more calm, right? In my corporate job, like this is one of Liam's rules, which I follow. If you think of something funny, don't say it. It's just like, That's just kind of like the corporate environment.
Yeah.
Like,
Serious business.
right. It's just like, let me just do my work and be serious and blah, blah, blah. So having an outlet to just kind of like relax and fuck around.
Get the silly out.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's really important, I think. I mean, if you're spending all day looking at spreadsheets,
Right.
I'm just guessing, or like lines that go up and down.
Yeah. You're like, oh my God, look at that. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't even make a joke about it.
Yeah, you're
just
like okay. Which is funny too, because so much of it is like so ridiculous. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people freaking out about, a couple percentage points or whatever. It's like, okay, guys, we're not saving lives here. Let's relax.
Oh man, I should try to apply that rule. See what happens to my career. I haven't yet, but I've done okay.
Yeah.
But I could do better.
Oh yeah.
All right. My last question for you, Dan. This is penultimate, final question.
Okay.
Ooh. Thinking about where you're at with improv right now. Mm-hmm. You've been jumping, you've been jamming, you've been in classes, you've been to camp. Let's say looking at the rest of 2023, right? Today is May 17th. Mm-hmm. So we still got more than half the year left. Do you have any goals or the things you would like to accomplish within improv or comedy or performing by the end of this year?
I don't have. That's probably not a good sound for the podcast. It's just making
Cut that. No.
cut. I don't have specific goals, to be honest. I mean, I would love to be in a couple shows.
Yeah.
I think, like, it's great to be in practice, but like to be in a show and put it all out there and be live, I'd be really excited about that. I think my main goal more than anything is to just remain consistent.
Yeah.
And like keep coming back and showing up and doing it. Because, there's some days where you're like, I don't want to go tonight or I'm busy or whatever. But like, to be honest, then I come out of it, I'm like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
That was so great.
Always.
So, yeah, I mean, I would love to be in shows, but I think if any goal, it's really just staying consistent with it and continuing to explore improv as a creative outlet. And I think exploring other aspects, right? Where there's like short form games, long form games, sketch, and like other areas too that I might like as well.
Yeah. Pushing yourself within the art form.
Yeah, definitely. Continuing to take risks and just try new things, because like I was kind of saying at the beginning, like that's the only way you, I think, get the positive feedback is pushing yourself and continuing to take those risks.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You got to risk it for the biscuit, right?
That's right.
Hey, there you go. This is a little corporate speak for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's good.
Use it at the water cooler tomorrow.
I'll use that. Yeah. At the water, because our offices are from 1975, so we've got coolers all over the floor.
Hey there, Phil. Risk it for the biscuit. Am I right, buddy? That's some good H2O.
Yeah, we have those weird like cone cups. You only get 2 sips of them.
Yeah, I hate drinking water out of those because it just makes me want a snow cone.
Oh god, I crush snow cones.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like my go-to dessert is a snow cone.
Really?
That would be like my top choice, or
Really?
like a shaved ice.
Shaved ice. Okay, getting a little fancier. Do you do like the Hawaiian shaved ice where it's got ice cream in it as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
I've got a real trash palate.
All those syrups. That's a solid dessert. Yeah. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a shaved ice machine at home?
No, I would love one.
Just like that.
I would love one. I
definitely
don't have the counter space.
I think you should invest. Find a way.
I should look into that.
Yeah. Hey, you're in investing. There's some great that you're missing.
Yeah. No, we'll have to diligence the at-home snow cone machine sector. That'll be our top priority.
Yeah, there's some really promising prospects out there right now. Really on the up and up. You want to get in now? Buy low.
Buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
We'll give them the machine for free, but we upcharge them on the syrups.
Genius.
Brilliant.
Genius. And we can sell sugar-free, extra sugar.
No. Lots of sugar. Get them addicted.
Lots of sugar, right. Keep them coming back for more.
Keep them coming, baby.
Yeah. And we're in California. You can eat that year-round.
Yeah, with the nice weather.
That's perfect. Kind of want some shaved ice now.
I know.
I don't know where you get shaved ice on a Wednesday night.
No. Sawtell. There's a good spot in Sawtell over there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Can't remember what it's called, but I know I've been there.
I have no idea, but it's like right on that weird.
Yeah, I had something with banana. It was good.
Yeah, they get good options.
Shoot, you're right. That's pretty close to here.
Well, all right, we're going for shaved ice.
Well,
pretty soon.
aren't I a fool? All right, Dan. So we got to do some improv.
All right, let's
That's
do
why
it.
we're here, improv for the podcast. So the first game that we're going to play is called Bad Habits. And this is not based off the Ed Sheeran song. I know that's what you were thinking.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, you were like, oh, Ed Sheeran just won that lawsuit.
Yeah.
You were all over it. But in this game, you've got a bit of a strange habit in that you are just, it's habit, character trait. We're kind of keeping loose with that term, but your habit is that you're thrilled by trivial things.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're thrilled by trivial things. So we're gonna play a scene where your character is thrilled by trivial things. I'm gonna give us a suggestion of a location, and then we'll just take it from there.
Okay, I got it.
All right, so we are at the beach. And I'll black us out when we're done.
Okay. Oh, I needed this. I needed this.
Yeah, no, me too. I just honestly, we should call out of work more often. Just get away,
All the time. I wish we could all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the sun, the sand in my toes, in every crevice. It's just great.
What? Sorry. The sand is cool, but
Right.
you in every crevice?
Every crevice. You have to enjoy. You have to embrace it.
Jeff,
fully.
dude, there's some places you don't want sand.
Well, not everyone. But you know what I love? I love the shower right after the beach.
Yeah.
You ever had one of those?
Yeah,
Ever done that?
it's nice to get clean, just like wash off the day, the sunscreen,
Sunscreen.
the sweat.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
great. You
The
go
sand.
home. The sand.
Clean out those crevices.
Well, I save some of it. Some of it you save. I like keeping it in my toes, and then a week later, you take your shoes off. There's little sand left in there. It's like a nice little memory of your time at the beach. You ever done that?
I don't think that's sanitary, Jeff.
Oh.
I don't. So you come to work with sand in your shoes?
Well, yeah, it's like, it's a reminder of the day that I took off from work, and I'm sitting, I'm typing,
Yeah.
but my toes within my shoes are doing this. They're curling. I'm feeling the sand. You ever done that?
No. I think that's actually one of my least favorite feelings in the world is leftover sand in my toes.
Oh.
I rinse that out as soon as I get home.
Oh, no.
Get the garden hose, shower head, whatever it takes.
Oh, God, no, that's, no. It's very enjoyable.
You are an odd one, my friend. We don't get to talk about this kind of stuff at the office,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm sitting one cubicle over, we're both just typing away. Corporate drone, beep, bop.
It never ends.
Never ends. Yeah.
But, we're out today.
This is thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's kind of fun getting to see you outside of work,
Yeah.
This is our first time hanging out outside the office.
I know. I didn't know you had that huge chest tattoo.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my God.
I can't pull that out in the workplace. Suddenly HR is going to be,
No.
on my case.
Oh, they'll be all over that. It's highly questionable.
Yeah. So I love this tattoo, man. It's Master Chief from Halo.
Right.
And he's just eating a sandwich.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's not wearing pants.
I was going to say that's sort of the key element of the tattoo.
Because it's like, even someone as cool as Master Chief likes to relax a little bit.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, but he kept his helmet on.
Yeah, well, you can't take that off.
Otherwise, he wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah, and I wouldn't soil my body with such a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're learning a lot.
We're learning a lot.
About what
it's a cool tattoo. I'm a big Halo fan. Used to play it a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
So, and I like to relax too, like Master Chief. So.
Right. Well, I'm glad you've kept your pants on in this scenario because that would have made me very uncomfortable.
It's only because I have to, Jeff.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe we should get back and talk to HR a little bit. You don't like them there all the time, but every once in a while for situations like this, it might be nice.
Well, Jeff, we're not crossing any HR boundaries. We're not at work. We're not on the clock.
Right.
We're just two friends spending some time together at the beach, enjoying sand in our own ways,
I do enjoy the sand.
and knocking back these cold cut sandwiches here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Do you have another one? Can I get one?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I made several.
Oh,
Here.
thank you.
Yeah, just the salami in here. It's,
Love a little salam.
killer.
A little prosciutto. A little prosciutto. Huh?
Shoot. Ooh.
It is nice. You know what I love?
What do you love?
I love when there's a little bit of sand in the sandwich, for the texture.
The little crunch it.
Yeah.
gives?
You're chewing, and then it like a little crunch, like in your back tooth. You ever get that?
I think that's disgusting.
You don't like that?
No, what? You're just pouring sand onto your sandwich.
Well, you get a little, you sprinkle it. It's like a salt. It's like Salt Bay, but it's Sand Bay,
It's not a seasoning, Jeff.
Well, yeah, I mean, not for everybody, but when you're at the beach, it reminds me of the beach.
It's just you. Do you know some of the disgusting things that might have been in this sand? It's just
Like your tattoo, or what?
what? Hey.
I'm sorry, you're just rubbing it around everywhere.
You don't look. You don't have to be a fan of Halo, but you will not insult this art that's on my left pec. Okay. All right, Jeff.
Okay, all right, I won't.
And I'd take that sandwich back if I could, but you got it all sandy.
I have. I've lathered it up.
Nobody wants that. That's disgusting.
It's good stuff, though. Little baggy.
I don't think I like you.
Okay.
I don't like you, Jeff.
Well, that's fine because we're just work colleagues.
Oh, well, we were friends, but
For a brief time.
this trip has informed me. If I've learned anything today, it's that I should call out and work more alone and get the hell away from you.
Okay. All right, Steve, look. I'm sorry I insulted the tattoo. Okay. I'm sorry. I think we should start fresh here. Okay. We have found a mutual hatred of our workplace, and we found a mutual love of the beach. You like to come here to relax, to swim in the water. I like to cover myself in sand. I'm probably going to ask you to bury me later.
Blackout. You're a sick man.
Yeah, I was just, that's rough. That's rough. I was trying to think of all the things people hate about the beach.
Yeah.
And all the things that I could love about those things.
Yeah, that's just the crevices that got me. That's a risky one, and in the food too.
Oh yeah, like when you,
bad.
I hate all of those.
I felt that sandwich I was eating. I could feel the grains in my teeth. I was
You get one grain and it ruins the
yeah.
sandwich.
I can just picture myself like eating a Dorito, and I'm like, and it's a little sandy, and I'm like, well, it's still a Dorito.
No, thank you.
Yeah. All right, but well done, Dan. Well done. I'm gonna keep us moving.
All right.
Away from the beach, we're gonna move on to our next game, and this one, there's gonna be a lot on your shoulders here.
Okay.
You're gonna carry the team. So I hope you're ready. This game is called Creation Myth,
Okay.
and in this game, I'm gonna give you a one-word prompt, and then you're just gonna give us a story about how the Earth was formed or created based off that one-word prompt.
Okay.
You're gonna tell us our origins.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I know. Let's see. So your word, quiche.
Quiche. Well, this is a creation myth from the Nordic tradition. So there's a lot of different creation myths. This one is probably my favorite, which is we are but a floating orb within a universal quiche. So there is one supreme Nona, or grandma, but they call it Nona there. There's one supreme Nona, and she was creating a quiche for her family, for her children to eat. And so she was mixing up, the eggs, and she was mixing up the ham and the cheese and laying out the pie crust and pouring it all together.
Sounds delicious.
But this supreme Nona, the eggs that she was using, the ham, the cheese, these are really just metaphors. Okay. And what it really is it's the very fabric of our being. The space-time continuum.
Oh my goodness.
Is that interlocking matrix of the quiche. And the Earth, our Earth, it's like a little ham cube floating inside of that broader quiche.
Cosmic quiche.
Cosmic quiche, right. Now, this extends, right? Because as you think about the climate crisis, global warming, the warming of the Earth, what is that? It's the baking of the quiche.
The baking of the quiche.
The quiche is being baked, okay? Now, the quiche will continue to be baked. We will continue to heat up. And unfortunately, at one point, this universe will end because her little children, they're going to eat us up. They're going to eat the quiche. They're going to cut it up, and we're going to feed the family, right? And our world, us, just a little piece of floating ham within that quiche, and all the other worlds that are floating amongst this quiche, cheesy, eggy combination will also be consumed. And that is why we must savor every moment, savor every bite of life, because it will all come to a fiery, fiery death for all of us. The universe will be destroyed. But as long as you embrace those that you love, you find joy in your life, and you really live life to the fullest, that is the best way to suck out every flavor from the universal quiche.
Blackout. Wow. I didn't know I was going to be learning some mythology tonight.
Yeah. No, me neither.
And that quiche was a Nordic dish. And so known as
known as Nordic quiche.
Known as Nordic quiche. That's an amazing story. I think I'm going to kind of reorient my life a little bit and just kind of go with that.
I think I'm going to eat some quiche tonight. That's
probably also true.
My go-to.
I need to go to the store.
Quiche.
Pie crust, eggs, a little bit of chive in there.
Oh, be delish, actually.
Maybe some other onion as well. I don't know. I like spinach.
Spinach. Whoa.
For the health factor.
You want to get healthy.
Suddenly the quiche it's a superfood if you do that.
It's a superfood. Yeah, the ham and the cheese and the butter. Just ignore those as long as there's a couple slices of spinach.
Yeah. All right. For our final game, Dan.
Okay.
As we think about our place within the universal quiche, this game is called Weird News Headline.
Okay.
We're going to perform a scene based off a strange news headline that I found today. This comes from the Associated Press, news.com/hub/oddities. And the headline reads this: LA volunteer police officer hospitalized after getting stung on face by swarm of bees.
This is a real headline?
This is a real headline.
A volunteer police officer?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had those.
I did not either.
How did you do that?
I guess you just volunteer.
Okay.
So yeah, a volunteer.
I guess we'll get into it. But.
Yeah, a volunteer police officer was hospitalized after getting stung on the face by a swarm of bees.
Got it. Okay. What do we do? Or we're just
taking that and we're doing a scene.
Just doing a scene off that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we got that guy good.
Yeah. Look, we stung him badly.
Yeah.
Badly in the face.
Badly for sure.
But he was coming towards the queen. You know what I mean?
Hey, God save the queen.
God save the queen. Stay away from my queen.
Hey, don't. If you even look at my queen,
sting you.
Stinger's out.
Sting you. Unbelievable.
Yeah. This guy, I don't feel bad.
No.
Who
do you think he was? He's walking around here like a badge?
Yeah.
But you think he owns the place?
He's so much bigger than us.
Right.
So much bigger. And we were basically being invaded.
We were being invaded. Our life was at risk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just out here being a good old worker bee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sucking up pollen. I'm regurgitating it back out as honey. And, this guy comes up in my face.
Yeah. Today was my day off.
No.
It was my day off.
No.
Yeah. I was going to go fly to visit my friend. He lives at another hive.
Yeah.
Just to hang out.
Oh, that's sick.
But then this guy shows up and, I got to drop those plans because we're under attack.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did he get your stinger, though?
I actually didn't go in deep enough to lose it. So it's just a little like, woo. in and out, you know?
Interesting.
So I'm okay. I'm hanging on. I thought today was going to be the day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you? Oh.
No, he got mine. I was fully committed to protecting the queen. So
Feeling all right?
I'm feeling a little lightheaded, you know. I mean, this is what happens.
Yeah.
So wait, what the fuck? So you didn't? I thought we were fired up about this. You didn't?
Yeah.
You didn't sting him, or?
All right. Look, Busby. I didn't actually sting him.
My God.
I was kind of just flying around, cheering on everyone. I'm not ready to go.
Not only am I slowly drifting off into the sweet night, but I have been betrayed by who I thought was a friend.
No, look,
A fellow warrior
I'm
protecting the hive.
I'm your brother. I don't think it's my time to go yet.
Oh, it's my time.
No, Busby, hang on.
I'm so cold.
No, Busby.
Lysandra, please.
It wasn't all for nothing.
I'm so cold.
You saved the hive.
Tell me I saved it.
You saved the hive, Busby.
Tell me I did something right.
You
Goddamn thing.
You were brave, and you're going to be honored in heaven, in bee heaven.
Thank you.
They're going to have a place for you. Your stinger will never detach.
Cover me in honey. Send me down the river.
Cover you in honey. You'll have all the flowers, all the stamens you want.
I want a funeral pyre. That's
The biggest. I'll speak to the queen.
She probably won't listen to you. You're kind of a pussy. You didn't even sting. You didn't even sting the guy. I mean,
You're right.
What's the queen gonna think about that?
You're right.
You don't hold sway here anymore. You're gonna be banned from the hive.
I might have to move. Actually, I might have to go move to my friend's hive.
You probably should. Probably don't tell anybody about this.
Yeah, just say that my hive got hit by raid or something, and that I need a transplant.
God damn it.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't do a background check. Look, thanks, man, for helping me think through kind of my next moves in your final moments. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm here. I live to serve.
Yeah, just a question about though, if I don't move, you think I could live at your place?
No, you cannot. You cannot have my stuff.
You're not going to need it.
What about my children that I'm leaving behind? I'm sacrificing myself for them.
Just name me your godparent.
My wife.
Name me your godparent.
You just steal things from them?
No, I'll take care of them. You got a great ottoman over there, in your living room.
You are a real piece of shit. Real piece of work.
Busby. Hey, I'm just making sure your affairs will be taken care of by me. Oh my God. Look, I'm gonna. There's some honey.
Oh, thanks.
Give me a honey handshake, real quick. Just honey handshake.
That feels good.
Feels good.
That's better. Okay. Thanks.
So I can marry your wife.
Yeah. Oh, you. What?
I can father your children. You just shook on it.
Oh God. Damn it! I forgot that's what this means in our culture.
Blackout. Oh, rest in peace, Busby.
Busby, you were a good soldier.
So brave.
Yeah.
Not like me. Finkelstein. I don't know what my name was.
Yeah.
It's just Honey Boy.
Honey boy.
Honey boy.
Honey baby.
All right. Well done. Have you ever been stung by a bee?
I have been stung by a bee. It's quite unpleasant.
It is.
Nothing too bad. I once was a child and we were on a picnic and this family friend we were with got stung in the mouth.
Oh.
And it was very funny.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was hilarious. But I luckily have not had that.
That's good. Yeah. I remember hearing stories happening to kids. They had a can of soda or something. The bee flies in it. They drink it. And you're just done.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
The bee's in your mouth. That is no place for a bee.
No.
But I'm glad you've made it through childhood, without any too many severe bee stings.
Yeah, you gotta get stung once or twice.
Yeah, you do. Once you get it over with, it's like, all right.
Then you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dan, before we conclude tonight's episode, are there any final words of wisdom, financial advice, jujitsu technique that you want to leave us with this evening?
No, definitely not. Words of wisdom, I have very few. But I think if there's anybody who's listening that is interested in improv, try it. I guess would be the only thing. I think it's a lot of fun. It's it doesn't have to be a profession or the only thing that you do. It's just get out there and explore that creative side of yourself. And I think that it's a great opportunity, and IFTP is a great place to do it.
Absolutely. And, the Rona Racing League is coming back, I'm sure, within the next couple months.
The Rona Racing League is long gone, unfortunately. It's in the deep past.
You got my hopes up, Dan.
It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah. I'm going to have to look into it. I got some entertainment this evening.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you again to Dan for coming on the show and telling us all things about Rona Racing League, jiu-jitsu, walking. I don't know. I can do better. Burgers in New York.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. And improv and life.
Yeah.
Life.
Exactly.
As always, Improv for the Podcast is streaming anywhere you can find podcasts. Also, we're on YouTube if you want to see Dan and I doing the honey handshake live. Some good stuff. But as always, we'll be back with another episode next week. And until then, we'll see you next time. Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.